Sripada Srivallabha Charithamrutham, Chapter 9, Part 1. Digambara, Digambara, Sripada Vallabha Digambara. The discussion on the fruits of karma. That day was Thursday. It was a sunrise time and the hour of planet Jupiter. Sri Tirumala Das and I were in a room in deep meditation. A fine ray of sunshine entered our room. When the sunshine entered our room, we returned to consciousness from meditation. Wonder of wonders! In those fine rays of sun, both of us saw the form of Sripada Srivallabha as a 16-year-old. Witnessing the most holy and utmost auspicious form of Sripada Srivallabha as a lad of 16 years is undoubtedly only on account of the generous grace of the great Lord. That splendid auspicious form gave darshan to us for a second and then disappeared. The chickpeas that we kept as an offering to the Lord turned into metallic pieces by the rays of the sun. That was amazing as well as irksome. I was worried mentally whether the appearance of the Lord was a sign of His grace or whether the change of the chickpeas into metal pieces was a sign of His wrath. Then Tirumala Das began to tell, "My dear Shankara Bhatt, this afternoon you can start for Kurvapuram after accepting my hospitality. The permission of Lord Datta has been granted. Lord Datta seeks alms in places of Datta during the midday hours on Thursdays. This time is a very auspicious time." Then I said, "Sir, we have been spending time recollecting Sri Datta and with the narrations of the episodes of Sri Datta. It is painful that the chickpeas given as an offering turned into metallic pieces. Kindly remove my doubts and make me fulfilled." Tirumala Das said, "My dear, after some centuries when Kali Yuga advances, atheism will become rampant. The Lord, through various strange and astonishing miracles, will destroy atheism and will establish theism. He will thus bless living beings. In the incarnation of Sripada Srivallabha, Lord Datta will grant the seed form of the programs for the establishment of dharma in the future. Consciousness in the metal lies in a dormant state. In the metallic stage, life exists only internally. Due to various chemical reactions of the metals, life emerges. The mind exists in life as an inner ingredient. The consciousness in the early life form is in a semi-dormant state. You can clearly see this in the trees. A man who consumes narcotics experiences this state in his body. Nature, which expressed itself as this early form of life force, develops as part of the evolution and learns to function through the mind. This state can be seen in animals. An animal, after complete development, is called a man. In him, the mind works with its full strength. In this mind, a supramental mind transcending the ordinary mind also exists. It is beyond the mind. Man can become a perfect man through yoga. He can activate the Kundalini force lying at the Muladhara center and take it to the Sahasrara center. Therefore, he can also achieve Savikalp and Nirvikalp states. He will experience himself as merged with Sri Guru, who is an embodiment of the Supreme Light. He will derive indescribable bliss in that state, and he will behave according to the wishes of the higher will. Therefore, he will no longer have any bonds of karma. The shape of that higher will is, however, unthinkable, unimaginable. It has the ability to move with an extraordinary, tremendous speed. The supermind belongs to the great Lord only. Lord Sripada accepts millions of prayers every moment. He replies to every righteous prayer if it is bound by dharma. He remedies the troubles. He grants every just wish. If the speed of the mind of a man is the speed of a tortoise, the speed of the Lord's supermind exceeds comprehension and is tremendous. Even the speed of the light cannot match the speed of his supermind. Any small prayer of a man or any living being reaches his countless rays of brilliance. He is the support for all visible and invisible forces. The luster in his world is nothing but the cluster of brilliant rays emanating only from his ever-shining body. It has the brilliance of countless of millions of suns. Compared to his brilliance, the combined brilliance of millions of stars and planets shining in millions of universes is like a light of a small candle torch before the sun. My dear, this is the real and exact nature of Sripada Srivallabha, that formless and attributeless Lord who has infinite strength, infinite knowledge, and infinite permission took to this human form as Sripada Srivallabha because of his infinite grace on creation. To understand this, a man should become a complete Siddha. The divine form of Sripada Srivallabha. Just as the evolution of man towards divinity is inevitable, God also comes down to lower stratas by condensing his infinite powers. This is called incarnation. This is a continuous yogic process. Once truth is established in creation, it works naturally and effortlessly. Sripada Srivallabha, a personification of the truth, knowledge, and infinity, is a supreme divine incarnation who descend with an intention to establish several divine truths in creation. He is really Lord Datta. Then I said, Sir, as I am carrying the conversation with you, many new things have been unraveled to me. The real nature of Sripada defies comprehension. I do not know how to write this divine magnificent biography of his. I do not know with what commentaries I should write it. You said about the establishment of the truth. I heard about the establishment of idols, but I did not hear about the establishment of the truth. Kindly explain. Then Tirumala Das said, Dear Shankar Bhatt, you are the person intended to write the hagiography of the Lord. You write the experiences of the devotees of Sripada whom you come across. You just record the things they tell. Your commentaries are not necessary. Sri Varu himself will get his biography written through you as a writing instrument. For you to think more than this is a waste. A man eats various types of food. They are assimilated on their own accord and they give strength to the man. In this procedure, there is no intervention or involvement of the intelligence of man. The responsibility of man is limited to the acquisition of food. Afterwards, the duty of a healthy body is to internally cook it and to give strength to the body. That means earning food is a duty imposed upon you. It is the duty of the body to assimilate the food eaten and to render strength. Since man has a mind, he enjoys more freedom and he can choose to do right or wrong. But the body has no such freedom. it must turn the food fit for assimilation and give strength to the body. That is a natural act done effortlessly, regardless the likes or dislikes of the person who ate the food. It means that a duty was prescribed to the body. A truth relating to it was established. An act taking place based on the principle of truth goes on automatically without our effort or will. Actions and reactions in this nature or creation happen on the basis of truth. Sunrise, sunset, seasons, and the course of the planets and stars takes place like this. This is an inviolable law. Liberty was not given to them to act in any other way. The omnipresent Lord, having mercy on the living beings in this creation, relaxes the duties prescribed by him to some extent. In Krita Yuga, everything is achieved by mere will. In Treta Yuga, things are achieved by conducting sacrifices and rituals. In Dwapar Yuga, they are achieved through the deployment of mantras and astras. In Kali Yuga, Tantra Shastra has importance. In this yuga, results are achieved by using machines. According to this yuga's dharma, things have been made easy. As the strength and intelligence of people are diminishing, easier ways to achieve things have been decided. The vision of Sripada can be obtained by relentless meditation. For those who continuously chant and meditate upon Sripada for 3 days and nights, Sripada will grant darshan in flesh and blood and will bless them. If a man follows 100,000 ways for downfall, God adopts 1,000,000 paths to uplift him. Lord Sridatta carries on his administration of this creation with his incarnations and through siddhas, yogis, avadhutas and great siddhis. There is a slight suspicion in your mind as a small seed whether Sripada is actually Sridatta of ancient yugas. To remove this doubt, Sripada changed the offering of chickpeas into metal pieces. Mother Anasuya transformed metallic piece into eatable pieces. He did this to remind us that he is none other than Sridatta of yore. There is another secret meaning in this. The planet Jupiter is in a debilitated position in your horoscope. There is a relationship between the planet Jupiter and chickpeas. Sripada communicated to you through this incident that difficulties due to the affliction of Jupiter are in a seed form and that he changed them into metal pieces which are incapable of sprouting anymore. Every article that enters this creation is seen by Sripada through his divine mental horizon. This is the supreme truth. Knowledge relating to the truth is well established. Therefore, there is no loss even if all people who had that knowledge disappeared from the world. When a person who is worthy of that knowledge steps into this creation, that knowledge will come to him. Divine powers, long-lived sages, and divine incarnations belong to the phenomenon of non-destruction. Human beings belong to the phenomenon of destruction. There is no stipulation that the phenomenon of non-destruction should conform to a particular type of knowledge, position, strength, or movement. Freedom is its nature. It is complete in all facets. It is most ancient and most modern too. No action takes place without a cause. Oneness is the basis for all causes and all actions. It is above all. It is the nature of Lord Datta. That Lord Datta incarnated for the first time in Kali Yuga with his all splendid potencies as Sripada Srivallabha in Pithikapuram. It is impossible even for the 1,000-hooded Adi Shesh to vividly describe such great Sripada Srivallabha. My dear, Sripada often proclaimed that he would incarnate as Sri Narasimha Saraswati. Hiranyakashyap obtained very strange boons, as it appeared as if his death was impossible. Even then, without infringing on any of the boons that were granted, the Lord took to the incarnation of Narasimha and killed Hiranyakashyap in an exceedingly unimaginable manner. The great devotee Prahalad was thus saved from Hiranyakashyap. Prahalad averred that the Lord was in a pillar in a building. Accordingly, the Lord manifested from the pillar. In Kali Yuga, many doubts abound as to whether God is there. Lord Sri Datta took to incarnation to suppress the arrogance of Hiranyakashyap and to rescue devotees like Prahalad. The speciality of the Narasimha incarnation lies in proving the existence of God. Lord Sripada Srivallabha and Sri Narasimha Saraswati are the two incarnations of Sri Datta, who came into this universe with two important missions: to suppress the pride of those who abuse God and to protect the devotees just like the eyelid protects the eyes. There is nothing that is not possible for Sripada. When Tirumala Das narrated in this manner, a doubt crept in my mind. I am now writing Sripada Srivallabha Charithamrutham on a Bhujapatra. On what type of material would people write this Charitamurtam in the future? It is currently the time of Sailavana calendar. Sripada informed that the Christian calendar would gain prominence in the future. When did the Narayan of Sri Krishna took place? On what date and at what time did Kali Yuga commence? I would believe that Sripada Srivallabha is actually an incarnation of Datta if Sripada writes all about these things according to the calculations of time which would be adopted by people in the future on a leaf that would be used by them in the future. I did not disclose my above doubts to Tirumala Das. I put up postures as if I was listening to him. I smiled and looked towards the metallic piece now and then. Suddenly the voice of Tirumala Das became hoarse. He lost the capacity to speak. While I was listening to the life history of Sripada, I heard a terrible deafening sound. After hearing the sound, I could not hear anything and became totally deaf. Oh, within a second, I became deaf and Tirumala Das became mute. Tirumala Das was trying to tell something, but no words were coming out from him. I could not hear even a small sound in spite of my efforts to hear. I then felt sorry in my mind that I got such a doubt which I should not have entertained. As a result, I became deaf. Will it be a permanent disability? Oh God, what is to be done now? The offering of metallic pieces formed into a sentence as Sripada Rajaram Sharanam Prapadaya. In the meanwhile, the chickpeas, which were kept as an offering and which turned into metallic pieces, arranged themselves to a sentence Sripada Rajam Sharanam Prapadaya in the Telugu language. On them appeared a small white sheet. It became big as we saw it. It became rectangular in shape. It was thinner than the Bhujapatra. It was smooth when touched with the hands. Characters were being written on it in black color in a beautiful way. The demise of Sri Krishna took place during 3102 BC, 18th day of February, during the night at 2 hours 27 minutes and 30 seconds. It happened in the year named Pramadi in the month of Chaitra, Padyami of the first fortnight of the lunar month, Friday, and Ashwini star, Kali, entered after the Narayan of Sri Krishna. I was perspiring profusely. All the water in my body was coming out as sweat. My body was shaking violently. I was certain that Sripada was invisibly present there. I thought to myself, what a misfortune! It is now only a dream that I will ever be able to reach Guruvapuram. I need not be surprised even if Sripada assumes the form of Narasimha and slays me. What can I do if he orders Tirumala Das to wash me and dry me as he does with clothes? If the Lord orders it, Tirumala Das would certainly beat me on the washing rock and would hang me for drying after the wash. Some gurus who boast themselves as wise men endowed with self-knowledge as they teach the concepts relating to Brahman to their disciples also showed them with a plethora of praises with an eye on milking money from them. The disciple also conducts himself with haughtiness, proclaiming that he was praised by that particular guru. This sort of gurus and disciples are both blameworthy. It was indeed a hilarious play of Sripada that Tirumala Das, who was born in a washerman caste, was imparting Brahma Gyan to me, who was born in a Brahmin caste. Those living in a vicinity were totally engaged in their profession as washermen. They were neither discussing such philosophical things nor could they comprehend them. Whatsoever, Sripada Srivallabha was my sole refuge. I looked at Tirumala Das. His face was placid and shining with the luster of the Supreme. Then it occurred to my mind that Tirumala Das was a Brahmin and I, with a solid mind, was a washerman. The offering of peas that turned into metal pieces gradually returned into their original shape. I understood that Sripada Srivallabha pardoned me. After some time, that white sheet disappeared. Tirumala Das said, "My dear Shankara Bhatt, this Kaliyug is an age of metals. This age is an admixture of impurities. In compliance with the command of Sripada, I have to take birth again in Maharashtra after staying for some time in Hiranyalok following my death." I said, "Sir, did Sripada order you to take another birth after leaving this body? Please tell me that story and make me blessed." Tirumala Das said, "I once took washed clothes to the house of Sripada's maternal grandfather. Then Sridhara Vadhani, uncle of Sumati Maharani, was carrying Sripada and making him play and was singing Datta Digambara, Digambara, Datta Digambara, Datta Digambara, Avadhuta." This was the song which Sridhara Vadhani was making him sing. Sripada was a boy of 2 years at that time. Sripada was crying with joy and playing. That spectacle was very charming to behold. Then I uttered, "Sripada Vallabha Datta Digambara." Sridhara Vadhani looked towards me. Then Sripada said, "Narasimha Saraswati Datta Digambara." Thus, Sripada taught in his own style that he himself was Sri Datta in the past, that he was in the image with the name of Sripada Srivallabha at that time, and when that image fades out, he would make his appearance as Narasimha Saraswati. Om Shri Sai Nathaya Namaha.